I'm Beth, and this is Bubbie's Kitchen. And we call it Bubbie's Kitchen because my grandbabies, Lukey, Zachy, Aiden, and Leo, come here to my kitchen to eat all their favorite food. And today, especially, we're making Bubbie's chicken soup with matzo balls. That's an all-time favorite. These are the ingredients for Bubbie's chicken soup. Now, a lot of people make chicken soup differently. This is the way that it was made in my family. It's the way that I make it. My son James has decided to roast the chicken and roast the vegetables. It's not how we make chicken soup. It's not how he ate chicken soup his whole life. It's not the way that I make chicken soup when I make it for Lukey, Zachy, Aiden, and Leo. This is the way that I make chicken soup. My grandmother made the chicken soup this way. My mother made the chicken soup this way. And believe it or not, I've said this before, my mother and my grandmother were awful cooks, but chicken soup they could make. Any self-respecting Bubbie has chicken soup in the freezer when anybody gets sick. So a lot of times you can buy these ingredients in the wintertime in your produce section. It'll be labeled a soup green mix, and you'll have some carrots, some parsnips, some white onion, usually a half of a big one or a whole small onion. You'll have some turnips, celery, and dill and parsley, fresh dill and parsley. Some people don't like dill, don't include it. We love it. And leeks. Whenever I cut leeks, I always put them in a bowl of water because the sediment will fall to the bottom, and I just scrape the leeks off the top and put them right in the pot. What I did this time is I actually bought all the ingredients separately. It's cheaper to buy it when it's all packaged, but I use all of these vegetables. And the extra parsnips, the extra carrots, I just roast. So, of course, we have to talk about Mr. Chicken. There's a little controversy about whether or not you should wash the chicken because it will make your sink dirty with salmonella poisoning, possibly. What I do is I always wash the chicken, and I'll show you why. I take out my dish drain. I take my that drain can go into the dishwasher. So I leave that one in. The one I use every day, I just put up here so it's out of the way. My sink is stainless steel, so I can wash it really well once I finish washing the chicken. Inside the chicken is the giblet bag. I don't use the liver, but I do use the pupik and the neck. And if you look in the back side of the chicken, you'll see that there's always some blood, some stuff that you really don't want in your chicken soup because it will change the flavor. All of this stuff changes the flavor of the soup. We put the chicken right in the pot. I'm not really worried about the inside of the sink or the surrounding of the sink because I'm going to wash that. Before I do that, I'm going to fill the pot with cold water that covers the chicken. So we have our chicken in a pot covered with water. I'm going to put it on high. I want to bring the water to the boil. What's going to happen is the impurities in the chicken will bubble up as this kind of like white foam. I want to skim all of that off the top of the water before I put my vegetables into the pot. Right now, I would be prepping my vegetables. Okay, so now you can see that the water is boiling and there's this white stuff on the top of the water. I'm not really sure what it is. Some of it looks dirty. I think it's impurities from the chicken. So I'm going to scrape it off before I put my vegetables in. I don't think it's important to get all of it. If there's a few pieces that you miss, that's okay. But you want to get as much as you possibly can. This looks good to me. So now I'm going to add the vegetables. My drained leeks. About a cup of leeks. 3/4 cup of celery. 1.5 cups of turnip. 1.5 cups of parsnips. 2 cups of carrots. 1 medium-sized onion. Parsley and dill. I would say equal amounts to add up to about 3/4 cup. Salt and pepper. There's a lot of water in there. And now my secret ingredient. Years ago, when my grandmother used to make chicken soup, they used to give you the feet and the head, and that used to really throw a lot of flavor to the soup and color. Well, you can't get that anymore in the supermarket. So I boost it up this way. That's a heaping tablespoon. What we want to do now is bring it back to the simmer, and it has to simmer for 1 hour. And then we'll pick the chicken, put it back in the soup, and we'll be ready to eat. Maybe even make some matzo balls. The chicken has been simmering in the broth for an hour, and now it's been on the counter for about 15-20 minutes so that it will get cool enough for me to be able to pick the meat off the bone. I don't think there's any other way to do this except with your hands. I don't want the skin in the soup. The skin has done everything it needs to do. It's given me all of the wonderful flavors. I tasted the broth before when I was making the matzo balls, and it's wonderful. I'm going to take the breast off first because I'm actually going to make chicken salad with the breast meat. I'll use all the rest of the meat to go back into the soup. Picked all the meat off the carcass, so you can see that there's lots and lots of meat, mixed white and dark meat. I'm going to save these breasts to make chicken salad. So I want to get all of these pieces of chicken onto my cutting board. I want to cut them into bite-sized pieces. Not small. Okay. Get this all back into the pot. So if you make chicken soup, you might as well make matzo balls. And they are so easy to make. I use Manischewitz. The recipe is right on the back of the can. Easy peasy. 2 eggs, large eggs. Mix them up. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. A little bit of salt. And the matzo meal. Now your chicken soup will cook for about an hour. So you set your timer for 40 minutes because it takes 20 minutes for the matzo balls to sit in the refrigerator. If you like the consistency, you don't need any stock. If you'd like it a little less tight, which I would, put in a little broth. That's perfect. That's exactly the way I want it to look. I'm going to cover this and put it in the fridge for 20 minutes. Today, we have a special taste tester, Tommy, my cameraman, director. He is my great nephew, and his daughter, my great niece, Emma, is here. Emma does all of my social media work, and she was in the office working, and I said, Em, you want to come in and have some of Aunt Beth's chicken soup?
Oh boy, that looks good.
Want a matzo ball?
Sure. I don't think I've ever had one. Thank you. Let's see.
Tell me what you think.
Oh my gosh, stop it. That's so good.
Is it good?
Oh,
I'll give it a try.
you gotta try it. I gotta get into this matzo bowl here.
Delicious. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Just the right amount of salt.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not easy cutting it when you're standing up, right?
Everything.
Fresh vegetables, chicken. The vegetables are soft, so when you feed it to the baby, it's always the right consistency. They love the taste. It's Jewish penicillin. Whenever anybody's sick, I always have some in the freezer to bring it right over.